So this was around when I was about 9 or 10 years old. It was one of my brother's games, had it on our computer, and I decided to try to play it. And oh man, let's talk about Myst here for a second. I don't remember when it came out. I don't remember the publisher very well, but it was a puzzle game. And you know, there's a lot of games back then where basically just about solving puzzles, but in a very ambiotic setting. You know, there's a lot of atmosphere in this game, which kind of makes it kind of creepy, because the whole time you're exploring this island, you're trapped alone in this weird world you're not used to. There's nobody around, which, you know, kind of adds to the spookiness. Well, technically there are people around. You've got these two guys who are trapped in books, and they only talk to you through these, you know, blurry, you know, crappy, staticky, you know, TV screens in a book. I don't really know what that was about. But basically they're trapped in there, and they're asking for your help. So, really weird game, really odd game, you know. It's kind of scary back then for a little kid to play, you know. But the worst part about it, or the best part about it, depending on how you look at it, the main part of the game is the puzzles. And Myst was one of those games where you were going to get stuck, you know. And back then, I'm sure walkthroughs existed when I was playing it, but I didn't know about walkthroughs. I didn't know about going to the internet to see how to beat a game, and maybe they weren't around at that point. But you know, you get hopelessly lost at points, and it's one of the fascinating things about the game. It's just how impossible it is, and looking back now, how the hell did I ever figure it out? Well, apparently I did figure it out, and the whole point of this video is because back then, 9 or 10 again, I made a strategy guide for Myst. Yep, a player's guide to get you through all the puzzles, just walk you through the entire game. I wrote this, and it's really awesome because it's the ever impossible Myst. I decided to title it, and apparently I was an idiot back then, kind of still am, but I didn't finish this. I only made like a couple pages, and then the rest is just a bunch of notes and scribbles. But I already decided to make an index, which, you know, being the dumbass I was, didn't realize you kind of need to finish the book before you can write which page number has what on it. The fun thing is, though, troubleshooting. Your little pistol, smoke coming out of it. Yeah, I was a weird kid back then. But so yeah, but it's just really weird. I found this in storage. It's just like, I wrote this, you know. I wrote this for who? I don't know. Maybe for myself to get back to playing it again. Well, I got back to playing it again, and it's kind of helpful, but, you know, once you beat Myst the first time, it's pretty easy to beat it again. Which, I guess now the only thing to do is read through this sucker. Which is funny, because troubleshooting I have on the first page. There's nothing about troubleshooting. So, Island of Myst, page 1, back of the index. To get to the observatory, click on the picture in the library showing a mysterious passage. The fun thing about this is, where's the observatory? What is the observatory? You wouldn't even know if you just started the game. I'm beginning to think this is just for my own purpose. Why I wrote pages and pages of this kind of crap, I don't know. But click on the map of the island and click, I spelled click wrong here, C-L-I-K, alright, and hold the flashing dot, the observatory. The line from the dot will circle around. Stop it whenever it turns red and check up in the observatory behind the elevator door for clues to getting on that island. Okay, again, not really that self-explanatory, but I mean, just in case you didn't want to go through all that hassle, here's all the clues. Got it for Stone Ship, the Mechanical Age, Channelwood, an Unnamed Age, which I guess is called the Salinitic Age? I don't know. But yeah, page 1. There you go. Alright, so we started off, I guess, Stone Ship Age, which, check, yeah, Stone Ship Age, it's page 8. I'm not missing pages, am I? Maybe this is just to get to it from the island. Anyway, so, the whole purpose of the game, in case you don't know, is you start off on this island, but that isn't where all the puzzles and stuff are. Well, there are puzzles there, but you get to it, go through a puzzle, it gets you on a different island, where you go through different other puzzles, you get pages for the books to help the brothers out. You know, it's just puzzle after puzzle. You get a puzzle to get to the area where there's more puzzles, essentially. I don't know if I brought this up before, but the two guys who are trapped in the books are brothers, you find out. And you learn that, you know, there's this whole family living on this island. And this island's essentially in a book. You know, you're trapped in this book that was this island. This family lived in this book on this island. You know, it was inhabited by people. And you go to these other worlds, you know, through books. So it's like bookception. You know, you're in a book, you go through another book to go to this other island. And throughout the game you find, you know, these rooms and stuff these people lived in, specifically the two brothers. And it was just one of those things that really added to the creepiness where, you know, you'd go in their rooms and there'd always be these like weird things. There's one where, you know, there's this nice little dresser, there's a bed, you know, obviously one of them lived there, but you check through the dressers and in one of the drawers there's like a syringe and these various, you know, deadly looking vials of, you know, some substance. You know, it's just like, you know, what went on this island, you know. And you know, there's like a bear trap for one. There's like this hologram that, you know, is a flower, but as you move the hologram it turns into a skull. You know, really messed up stuff. But one of the best ones you discover is in one of the islands you come across this room that's full of weapons and torture devices and stuff. You know, it's like, well, you know, that's fun. They obviously had some interesting hobbies. But no, if you go through this one secret compartment of the room, you find a cage, a metal cage with a little switch next to it. If you flip the switch, a bolt of shock goes through the cage, or, you know, towards the cage. It doesn't really explain it, but basically it's an electric torture device, is this cage. And if you look in one of the boxes in this room, there's a severed head in it. It's just, you know, so very, very spooky game just to, you know, discover that, just to know that, you know, you may be alone right now, but if it was inhabited, you know, it would be a dangerous place. So it's a very interesting atmospheric, you know, thing. You know, kind of made it eerie. There's no, you know, it made you creeped out through just hinting towards things, and I always thought that was really interesting. To get to the Stone Ship Age, put the dates into the strange machine in the building next to the library. You will be shown constellations with each inputted date. Draw the constellations down and look them up in Stone Ship Book, blue book on the top shelf to the right in the library. There should be symbols represented for each constellation. Look up the 3 you received and go out in the courtyard with the model of the sunken ship. Around the model should be strange markers with symbols. Click, looks like I wrote dick, on the right 3 and the model, oh, the correct 3, I get it. And the model boat should rise along with a real boat at the dock. Go to the real boat and check the cabin where there will be a teleport book leading to the Stone Ship Island. Fun thing about this whole guide is I wrote this entire page of dialogue, of instructions. So you could go to the observatory, right, draw down each constellation, and then click the right buttons, you know, do it all yourself, or you can move your eyes a few inches down, where I drew the correct constellations anyway. Not much of a strategy guide. To get to the mechanical age, go straight out of the library and through the woods until you see a clock resting on a giant gear in the middle of the sea. On the shore, there is a box with a button and 2 wheels on it. This controls the time that is on the clock. And by the time found in the observatory, 2:40, simply put that time in. The small wheel controls hours, the big wheel controls every 5 minutes. So, without, you know, figuring it out on your own, 2 turns with the small wheel and 8 turns with the big one. Push the button, gears will appear in the water so you can get through. Enter the door. Inside is another puzzle involving 2 levers that control 3 gears with numbers on them. You want the pattern 3-2-1. Oh, 2-2-1. Oh man, I can't even read that. As shown on the observatory, getting it wild will be easy if you observe. If you hold the lever down, if you observe, wait, it'll be easy if you observe. Okay. If you hold the lever down after pulling it, the middle gear will move alone. Okay. Pull the left lever and hold it for 2 clicks, and simply pull the right lever twice. You will notice the A gear below it open up. This represents the bigger gear on the island, so head to the large gear near the dock, and it should be open on the left side. Enter through to find a teleport back to the mechanical age. Okay. So, there you go. Instead of doing it yourself, just keep reading and I'll tell you how to do it. To get to Channelwood is fairly simple. Leave the library, down the forest, and turn left through the woods. There should be a big cabin. Enter it and check the right side of the door. There will be a safe. Use the combination number you got from the observatory, 724. Open the safe and there will be a box of matches inside. Light one and turn to the furnace. Put the match in the tiny square hole below the furnace and start a little fire. Turn the red wheel clockwise until the pressure on the furnace is all the way up. Okay, stop turning the wheel and you should hear a strong mechanical sound. Strange. Strong. I don't know what I was trying to write there. The sound is a giant redwood tree to the right of the cabin getting taller. When the sound stops, turn the wheel back counterclockwise until the pressure on the furnace is completely gone and the fire goes out. Hurry and run out of the cabin, and to the left behind the cabin should be a giant redwood. The sound it is making now is it descending into the ground. Run up to it and wait until you see a door carved into the tree. When it becomes level, walk in and wait for it to completely descend, and you will find yourself in a room with a teleport book to Channelwood. To get to the unnamed age, or salinitic age, I don't know why I decided it was unnamed. To get to the unnamed age, go to the library and check the blue book on the middle shelf. There should be a picture of piano keys with numbers on them. These are the order you strike the keys. Be sure to memorize or write it down. I spelled right wrong. Or you just check the next page, and I already wrote it down for you. I even wrote down the actual notes. Next, go through the forest in front of the library and turn right. When inside, there should be a building with an open door. Go through the path until you run into a door. Open the door with the blue button and walk inside. You need to find the right buttons that will give you the correct number of volts in the spaceship 59, as found in the observatory. If the power isn't showing on the right meter, pull the fuse switch on top of the tower near the rocket to the left of the library. I am not good at writing directions. Oh, by the way, if this doesn't work, it means I forgot to tell you about another thing you're supposed to do. When the power grid says 59, which I wrote down what the grid needs to look like, go back and head to the rocket. If everything is set right, the door should open. Inside, press the piano keys. Inside the ship is a piano. Press the keys in order of the book and memorize the notes. A machine behind the piano is where you place the exact notes in order. You might have to go back to the piano a few times. Yeah, doing this again, pain in the ass. When you have the notes right, pull the switch and the screen above should show the teleport book to the unnamed age, salinitic age. Yeah, I even wrote down what it should look like generally. But it's impossible to know exactly because the notes have to be exact, and there's, I don't know, however many there are on the piano. It's not a full-size piano, I don't think, so it's not that many. But basically what I ended up doing for this part was just count all the keys up, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 1. So I just kept moving the notes up till I'm at the 8th note. That's 1. Move from there. That's 2. Yeah. So not very helpful because you still got to be good at, hearing keys, which I'm terrible at apparently. So yeah. Now this is where the whole directions fall short, because I tell you how to get to the islands, but I don't necessarily tell you how to solve the puzzle of the islands. The only one I really do, kind of, is the Stone Ship Age. I even drew a little map. I think this is in the book in the library too. And that's the thing about this game. I think I finally figured this game out, all the puzzles, when you realize that there are books in the library of the main island that basically tell you what to do, essentially. You know, they give you pretty big hints in those books, and I think from then I was just, you know, I figured it out and made a bunch of notes. So the Stone Ship Age, I made a map, which you can hardly figure out what's going on in it. And it just kind of starts in the middle, so I don't know if I'm missing a page. But it basically says, the last flight before a room in the rock should have a secret passage hidden low on one of the walls. Drain the water from the lighthouse with one of the pumps. There's a spiral stairway below the entrance bridge in the lighthouse. Below is a chest. Turn the bottom left switch on the chest and the water will drain. Close the switch again and put the water back in the lighthouse. Use the telescope on top of the rocket to get the compass degree for the hidden compass inside the lighthouse. The battery charger inside the lighthouse is for the lights inside the rock. And again, if you don't know the game, this would make absolutely no sense to you. But the main puzzle of the game has to do with getting a compass direction, pushing the right button. So there's the right compass direction for you. There you go. Oh man. What the hell is it? Oh, yep. The salinity gauge. Now this one, this age is kind of cool because it all has to do with sound. Basically, you go through this island that has these different, you know, like there'll be this broken clock, these broken clocks everywhere, and you go to it and it sounds like, you know, clocks ticking. You push the button, you go to this area with water or something, and it sounds like water flowing, so you push the button. You do this to like 4 or 5 of them. I think it's 5 of them. Then you go to this machine. There's symbols that represent each sound, and so when you find this machine that rotates, you know, the whole radius of the island, you have to find each sound, match it with the symbol, and then that gives you a hint to get through this door, which is pretty simple because basically you just put the sounds in the right order on the door, which I think is what this is, but I'm not sure. I don't even know what CDWRT stands for. It might be the sounds, like W is water, but I don't think that's right. I don't know. But anyway, the ridiculous thing about this island is, and it's actually a fun story, is you're not done after that once you figure out this whole sound puzzle. Now after that you get into the rocket. Oh man, this rocket. It's either a rocket or a tram, I don't know. But basically, you're on these tracks and you're pointing, you could go any direction on the compass, and you have to find your way out from beginning to end. And there's dead ends, you know, there's multiple directions you can go, and this part used to always piss me off. And so I think I just gave up one day and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write down each correct direction. So this bottom one is obviously me trying to figure it out, and then once I did figure it out, I just drew the whole solution up here. So you start off, you go north, you know, then you go west, then you go north again, then you go east and east. But the funny thing about the rocket puzzle is every time you reach a destination, it makes a noise, right? And you can play the noise back and everything, and just each direction just has one noise. And so I always thought this was to keep track of where you've been. Like each area has a noise, so if you go back and you recognize the sound, then oh, you're back to where you started again, so now you have to go somewhere else. And I was just like, that's impossible. How is that supposed to help you in any way? But no, I'm an idiot. These sounds that they play for you actually represents what direction you're supposed to go. So north has a noise, west has a noise, south has a noise, east has a noise. All their own noises, and when it's like northwest, it'll combine north's noise and west's noise together. So if you were paying attention and you knew which noise represented what, you just, you know, you listen, oh, I'm supposed to go northwest. Go northwest. So, didn't realize that when I was a stupid kid, but, you know, what can you do? Plus, just read my strategy guide. It should tell you exactly where to go. This noise is silly. And the rest is just a bunch of scribbles. How I figured out stuff. Oh, one of the ages, I can't remember which one it was, but basically to exit is, right when you enter, there's this machine that when you figure out the right 4 buttons, you can exit. So, whatever, just there's your combination right there. Just get on the island and you leave the island. I think it's the same island too. I can't remember which one it was. But basically you rotate this entire area. There's this centerpiece with all these rooms and stuff. You have to rotate the centerpiece, and you rotate the centerpiece so that the entrance of the building extends to other little sections around it. And you go to those sections and it'll show you, the little parts of the piece. But the puzzle, which I don't remember now, which has to do with rotating the tower, has to do with sound. I think you have to blindly rotate the tower, but there's like a little key in another room that tells you this direction's this noise, this direction's this noise. So, fun little thing. Apparently north is pink. That's the noise I thought it sounded like. South is din. I don't even thoing. I think east is thoing. Which I was gonna put ding, so I don't know what my problem is. Then west is pathoing. So I hope that helps. Whatever. Yeah, more notes about the constellations, other things. I don't know what that's all about. More stuff. This looks like a map, but I don't know what that's a map for. But these 2 pages fascinate me because they're basically the end game. And I gotta talk to you about the end game here. Basically, spoilers, by the way. You can help one of the brothers by giving, all of them, either red page, all the red pages for the red book brother, all the blue pages for the blue book brother. And the whole time they're like, don't trust the other one. You want to trust me.
Listen to him. Now listen to my brother.
Spoiler alerts, they both screw you over. So when you save them, get them out of the book, they trap you in the book. So they're both evil, which is kind of a dick move on the game's part, because you'll play through it and be like, oh, red is evil, or no, oh, blue is evil. And so you play through the whole game again to save the other one, but nope, they're evil too. But when you get to down to the last page, when you're 1 page away from saving them, they'll tell you to stay away from this book that has this certain page number on it.
Listen carefully. You must find 1 more page and I will be forever free. There is a book on the shelves. This library, which is mostly burned but has a few pages still intact. It is the last book on the middle shelf. Find it. This book is filled with a variety of patterns. Find pattern 158 and recreate it on the door of the fireplace. This will bring you to the last red page. There is another warning. Where the red and blue pages reside, also resides a green book. If you touch the green book, you also will be imprisoned forever.
What's that about? Well, this certain book and this certain page number gives you the pattern to place in the fireplace to get you to the white book, which is end game, the actual end game, the good ending, I should say. But before you can get in the white book, you have to find the white page, which you can only find through sections of a note that you only find 2 halves of throughout the game when you're traveling through islands. And they give you a hint of how to get the white page. So the funny thing about this guide is, there's all these instructions helping you out through, the island, but these last 2 pages basically tell you how to beat the game from the beginning of the game. Because this is the note, it says, marker switch vault access, Isle of Myst. The vault is locked in very plain view on the island of Myst, and access can be achieved very easily if the simple instructions are followed. First, locate each of the markers switches on the island, turn every on Turn every on of these switches to the on position, then go to the dock and as a final step turn the marker switch there to the off position. What happens when you do that? You get the white page. So there you go, white page. And oh, guess what? That page number that the brothers tell you not to check out when you get most of their pages, it's right there. So I even wrote it down, so you don't even need to check the page number. Just go to the fireplace, put this in, bam, white book. So that was my informative strategy guide. You could basically look at the last couple of pages and it'll tell you exactly how to beat the game in, 5 minutes. Which, it is one of those games where after you play it a couple times, you could beat it easily, like immediately even, with these notes as well, especially. Like I said before, it's after you beat it once, you can just beat it again easily. But it's mainly because the game is beatable from the get-go. It's just you don't know that yet until you get to a part or someone gives it away. Or maybe if you check online, read a strategy there. I don't know if they give it away like I do. But it's not that big of a deal because, oh my god, the ending. I need to talk about the ending of Myst here. I mean, we can't talk about Myst without me having to rant about this goddamn ending. So, you put the white page in the white book, you travel to that era, wherever it is. This is some weird, poorly graphicked room, and there sits the father of the two brothers of the red and blue books. Well, I mean, why don't I just play it for you?
Ah, my friend, you've returned. And the page, did you bring the page? Ah, give it to me. Give me the page. Please, give me the page. You've done the right thing. I have a difficult choice to make. My sons have betrayed me. I know what I must do. I shall return shortly. It is done. I have many questions for you, my friend. But my writing cannot wait. I fear that my long delay may have already had a catastrophic impact on the world in which my wife, Catherine, is now being held hostage. Oh, and reward, I'm sorry, but all I have to offer you is the library on the island of Myst, the books that are contained there. Feel free to explore at your leisure. I hope you find your explorations satisfying. You will no longer have my sons to deal with. Feel free to explore at your leisure. I hope you find your explorations satisfying. Feel free to explore at your leisure. I hope you find your explorations satisfying.
Yeah, so you beat the game. You probably went through hell and back to do it. You probably explored every single nook and cranny of the goddamn islands. And what's your reward? You're free to explore the island as you please. Because that's not what we just goddamn did for the past fucking hour. It baffles me. Like, the ending of this game is so horrible. Like, the payoff for all the struggle, you feel like a genius when you solve these puzzles. But they don't even... That's your reward. Just explore the island now, because you weren't doing that before, clearly. Oh, it's such a kick in the balls. And as a kid, beating it, oh, you better believe it pissed me off. Oh my god. I mean, why did I even write the strategy guide in the first place, knowing that this is your reward? This is what you get, you know? I guess it's a fun experience, you know? Go ahead and, you know, get a copy of Myst, play it for a couple minutes, and watch that ending and see what all of us had to go through in the 90s. Oh, but yeah, that's Myst for you. It was an interesting game, you know. It's got great ambiance. It's kind of spooky, kind of eerie. The puzzles are awesome. Like I said, you really do feel like a genius when you beat them. But my God, it is not worth it, people. It's not worth it. So yeah, until next time.